I'm here on the Gap Ski Instructor Course because this is really what I want to do for a living, rather than sitting behind an office desk in London. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and it's taken me a while to get down to doing it. So yeah, that's why I'm here. I've got a whole plan to make a new life out here in the mountains, and this is the first step of it. I booked on this course in particular. I was actually booked on 2 other courses. I had a job offer that came through, which meant I didn't go to the one in Canada. And I'm really glad I didn't, actually, because this one's been really, really good. But I was booked on one later in the summer, but I wanted to come on this one because it's really nicely timed. It starts in July, finishes in September. So it means that I'm qualified by the time that the ski schools are taking applications for instructors over the winter. So for me, it worked out really, really well. And also, I picked this course because of the technical content. It looks a lot more sort of techie than some of the others. The instructors were the ones that were training you. They wasn't brought in from elsewhere. It was actually the academy that did it. That's the reason that I chose this course, in particular the summer course as well. The content of the course is really, really strong. The guys, they don't. A lot of the other Gap courses, which are worked out when you do your research, they buy in their instruction from somewhere else. So they're packaging it up almost like a tour package, or like a holiday or something like that. These guys run the course. The coaches that you're dealing with are from the Warren Smith Ski Academy, and they're all absolutely brilliant. That's one of the reasons that I chose this course, is because simply because the coaching element of it is, a lot more technical. There's a big sort of focus on biomechanics and all that sort of stuff, and it's really a lot better, I would imagine, than some of the other Gap courses. As the weeks go, the first couple of weeks, the first week they seem to break down your skiing and then try and break it and build it all back up again. Obviously, you come in with a certain idea of whether you can or you can't ski. You kind of realise quite quickly that you're actually not as good as you think you are. So there's the first week is a huge focus on sort of technical performance. The second week is straight into your basic level 1 qualification, which is a week-long course, and then weeks 3 onwards to about week 7 is what we're on now, is just hammering performance like all the time. So you're just doing sort of short radius turns, long radius turns, but just working on technique over and over and over. And I think probably the technique levels that we're working to are a lot higher actually than the basic 2 qualification that we're going for at the end. But you've obviously got to be, you've got to be better than the requirement. There's no use just scraping through. So that's what we've done in the intervening 5 weeks. There's also been a mountain safety course, first aid course, all of that kind of stuff, which was great. But the majority of time is spent, hammering it, and it's been really, really good. The mountain safety course we were up here for a day. The day we were up, it was actually the day when it was dumping down without a metre of snow. So we did a lot of work, and it was quite good to actually have a metre of fresh snow in the middle of the summer to actually do some work like trying to find avalanche transceivers and stuff like that, and sort of probing for bodies and things. We actually ended up losing a shovel. Literally, we buried it, didn't know where we put it, and we had to probe for like an hour to try and find this flipping shovel. So that was quite interesting. In terms of the first aid course, that was 2 days, and I found that really, really, really interesting. There was a huge amount of content. It was provided by the British Association of Ski Patrollers, and it literally just covered everything, and we just did loads of scenarios and all that sort of stuff. So much so that you see people crash around the mountain, and you feel like you'd be comfortable dealing with it. So it's really good. The video analysis is really, really useful. It happens about twice a week, every week, and actually some of the more techie guys amongst us have actually managed to get the videos, and you can sort of whack them on your laptop, and you can actually see your progress week by week. So I can look back at my first week's video and see all the thoughts and stuff that I used to have that I don't have anymore, and it's really sort of encouraging. The guys go through it, and you can break stuff down sort of slow motion, and they can already tell when they're looking at you, like 2 or 3 turns before, the turn before. So you're doing this, so this is what's going to happen at the end of the next turn, and the same thing happens. So they've obviously video analysed a lot of people, and it's really good to see, because you can see the stuff yourself that they're seeing out on the mountain, and it's really, really good. I thought it was all right, like a reasonable skier, but I don't know, when I looked at my kind of first week's video, it looked like I was some kind of skier from like a 1980s ski video, with sort of just arms like all over the place and sort of feet really close together. But I've never really had any kind of formal sort of ski training whatsoever, apart from like a week when I was 14. I've just kind of taught myself. But having proper coaching is just recommend it to anyone. It's just fantastic, and it's corrected so much of the rubbish that I used to do, and it kind of channels your energy and your focus into sort of useful skiing, so you can sort of control yourself and get yourself around better. It's just so much easier. My alarm goes off about 10 to 7. The mountain here in Saas opens, I think the first lift up is at 7 AM. We're normally leaving the hotel about 8 o'clock. So I'll get up, have some breakfast, get my stuff together, and we'll walk down, we'll get the lift up, and we'll be skiing by about 9 o'clock. You'll have a warm-up. That's actually really important, and I didn't today I didn't do it. Today is a free skiing day, and I didn't do it, and I really felt the difference. I couldn't get myself together at all, so I had to stop, take my skis off at the side of the mountain, and actually do a proper warm-up to get somewhere. So you would ski, you'd have like a, I don't know, 10-15 minute lunch break. If you don't want to have lunch because you just had breakfast, is the way I think about it. You know, you can just go off and do a couple of runs on your own. Mountain shuts at 1. You'll go down, you do some stretching. The afternoon is spent as you want to do. Some of us go and play volleyball or golf or whatever. Normally about 7 o'clock, something like that. And then your choice, you can go to bed or you can hit one of the bars and, you know, have a few beers or whatever. But the altitude in Saas served this as a warning to anyone coming on the summer gap. This is not a place to be up here with a hangover. It's too high. Don't do it. Like, save it for like Friday nights if you're going to go really large, because it's not a nice place to be with a hangover. Well, all of the coaching team are amazing. That's the first thing you need to know. They're, I mean, just epic, and you can't have any. There can just be no argument with anything they say, because when you see them ski, they're just brilliant. All technically brilliant. They've all got within. I mean, they're all. You can see the actual fundamentals of their skiing is all very good, like all very similar, but there's room for individual kind of flair in the way that they do stuff, in the way that they ski. But you get the feeling that when they do their demos and stuff for you to try and sort of copy and follow, that they're skiing very much within themselves. And but in terms of the quality of their coaching and the content, it's just amazing. You can't describe it really. They're just great. And they can be as technical or as non-technical as you like. Like from a personal perspective, I don't really take in much more than one kind of thing at a time. So some of the guys are quite technical, and some are just others. I mean, to give you an example, Charlie and Rob, for example, they really love going into sort of technical detail, whereas someone like Jordan, for example, would just say, "Hey, let's go and ski." And there's very different styles, but you get something out of each one, so it's really, really good. It is quite a diverse group on the course. You've got a real mix. The youngest person is 16, the oldest is like 52 or something. I'm slap bang in the middle, I'm 33, but there's an age range. There's a large number of kind of sort of school, university guys who are here for their summer before they go off to uni. There's a few of those, and they're really good fun. There's a couple that are kind of mid-20s, there's a couple that are sort of mid-30s, and a couple of older people as well. So, but yeah, all nice people. They all work sort of really well together. We split up into the Gap course is split up into 2 groups. So you've got sort of Group 1 and Group 2. Group 1 is it's quite competitive. It's quite sort of aggressive, but we all kind of pull for each other and stuff. It's really, really good. Real sort of team sort of mentality, almost like a football, cricket, or whatever team. You know, we're all really there for each other. That was especially evident on Basic 1, the Basic 1 course, where, you know, they didn't really feel like they you know, it was hard for. Sorry, the coaches were really, really impressed by sort of the unity of the group. The second group, I don't know much about because I haven't been in it, but it's but you know, equally, I think they've got a sort of equal team mentality as well. They seem to be really enjoying themselves. So there seems to be 2 accommodation options. You can stay in the Du Glacier, which is where the majority of people are staying, but also there's a load of guys staying in the Dom Hotel. Dom Hotel is a little bit more of a, I say, a sort of younger sort of place. Sort of dance music played in reception and stuff like that, and there's a nightclub underneath it, which is I try to avoid because I don't like it. But it's okay. Like yeah, it's all right. It's just a sort of slightly cheaper accommodation option, and it's all right. It does the job. The majority of the time, we're not really in it anyway, sort of because we're out skiing or out in the evening somewhere. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Summer in Saas means you can, once you've finished your skiing, you can go down to the village and it's 25 degrees, and you can sit around and there's a number of options, like you can go play golf, you play volleyball, you go for a walk, you can go climb a mountain. Majority of the time we go and get a crate of beer and just sit on someone's balcony and just suntan, which is pretty good. But you know, there's plenty to do. But that's the beauty of it. You come up here and there's just like snow everywhere, and then you go down the bottom and it's sort of green fields and flowers and sort of rivers and stuff, and it's really, really nice. About a week ago, it just dumped down. There was a storm up here for like 3 days, and yeah, we had like a metre of fresh snow. It's just a stupid amount, and I've been lending my sort of twin tip wider skis to one of the other Gappies because he brought skis that were just like massively wide for this. So I was trying to ski sort of a metre of powder in my sort of World Cup P skis, and it didn't quite work. But it's an interesting experience anyway. But yeah, it was stupid. There was a bit. I came up here skiing on my own the first day that it opened after it snowed, and I'd got up early especially to come up here, and I was sort of skiing across down to the lower slope, and literally the front of my skis dug in, and I ended up in like literally a foot of powder. Just no, not even a foot, like more like half a metre. It's more or less set everything up now for the last 2 weeks that we've got, and you know, really good conditions. It probably, you know, the snow's going to be good now here till at least autumn. The highlight for me is more just the skiing. Like I just love it. I actually had a little sort of question in my mind as to whether I would actually still love it after 9 weeks of skiing, but I now know that I absolutely do, and it's just to ski every day and just get better and better and better. And now I feel like I'm skiing with absolute total control all the time, anything I do, and it's such a good feeling. It really is. Yes, I would. I'd recommend it to anyone, mainly because of the quality of the coaching. It's, for me, incredibly technical, but I've also had a great time. But you learn about why skiing works rather than just skiing and getting a qualification. I'm so glad I did the Basic 1. I'm so glad I did it in Europe. I'm so glad I did it with the Warren Smith guys, because if I'd have gone to some of the other ones that I looked at, I think I would have been disappointed. But this has just been immense. It really has.